Hey there, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to the Nook. For today's workout of the week, we are doing a heart opening yoga flow. So I'm going to invite you to sit on the floor. If you have a mat, great, but you don't need one. Whether you're on a mat or not, just take off your socks so you're barefoot, so you're not sliding all over the place. We're going to start with just 3 big breaths. Bring those arms down, around, all the way up. Biggest inhale, and then exhale, hands right to heart center. 2 more just like that, just to connect to the breath. Inhale, maybe look up this time, press those hands together, and then straight down to your heart. This is for your mind. Let everything go for these next 20 minutes. Promise you it will be there. And just focus on your body in your space. Reach your hands behind you. Wiggle your pinkies as close as you're able to. If you can touch them, great. If not, that's great too. Just opening up your chest. First, gaze down, and then right out in front. And then, if you'd like to, where the wall meets the ceiling. Or drop your head back, but only if it's comfortable. Then once again, drop your head down. Look towards your body, your feet, your legs. Look straight out in front, and then gaze up to where the wall meets the ceiling. Wiggle those fingers apart. Take one arm, reach it up over the side, using your other hand as a kickstand or your elbow, but just making sure you're keeping your sits bones, those butt bones, glued down to the mat, and then back up. Same thing other side, but it might look different. Maybe you can go lower, maybe you can't. Once again, keeping those bones in your butt on the ground, glutes grounded. Reach it up and over. One more each side. Sit up nice and tall before you start this next one. And other way. And then I'll have you roll it on over to all fours. Tabletop position. Lining up your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over those knees. Introduce some cat-cows. Let's introduce the spine, flexion and extension. If you need to inhale, look up. Exhale, curl it out like a scared cat. One more like this. Inhale and exhale. Tuck those toes. Press it back for your first downward facing dog of the day. Then you can do a little dance. Pedal out your feet. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. Just aligning your first downward facing dog, this upside down letter V with your body. Then let's inhale forward to plank. And then chances are, if those shoulders are further in front of your wrist, you need to lengthen your stance a little bit, move your feet back. And then downward facing dog. One more just like that. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time, inhale forward to plank, lower as slow as you can, knees or no knees, all the way down to the floor. And then inhale, cobra, untuck those toes. Using your hands for this first one, lift up and lower. Lift up on the inhale. This time, maybe make your hands light or they lift with you. And then lower. Both those options, or inhale all the way up, upward facing dog, gazing out straight, or once again, up where the ceiling meets the wall. And then press it back, downward facing dog. We'll take it through a full vinyasa, knowing these are all optional. You can always just come back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward. Exhale this time, chaturanga, so lean forward a little. 90 degrees with those elbows if you're going that direction. Flip those toes. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your feet up to meet your hands. Have your feet be wide for this first one. It's a ragdoll, so letting your upper body fold over those straight-ish legs. They shouldn't be totally straight, little bend in them, or a big bend in them. Letting everything sink towards the floor, towards the ground. Add that shake of head yes, shake of head no. And then heel toe those toes together. Heels have a little space. And inhale, heart shines forward. Find this upside down letter L with your body. And then exhale. Inhale for the L. This time reach the arms back, totally optional. Exhale, L. Inhale, halfway lift. This time arms come forward, thumbs towards the sky if you have it in you. And then fold it forward. Roll it up one vertebrae at a time, all the way to the top. Big inhale, just like we did in the beginning. Hands reach up, but now we're standing. Hands come down to heart center. Knowing today is going to be a heart opening yoga flow, so you'll hear me say squeeze your shoulder blades together up from the back, or we'll increase our gaze up to shine our heart forward. Do what works for your body always. And we flow. Inhale, arms come down around, one more time up. This time we forward fold over those straight-ish legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step it back to plank. Optional vinyasa here to get through your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Gonna inhale the left leg high and step it through in between your hands for a low lunge. So drop your back knee, untuck your back toe, and then walk those hands up for your low lunge. Hands can stay on your knees or lift it all the way up. Bring your hands to heart center. We're gonna find a twist. So this outside, this tricep is gonna come to the outside of my leg to find a twist. And I purposely did this side so you can see the back side of my body. It's not rounded. My spine is straight. And then with every inhale, I'm gonna find length through my spine. With every exhale, I'm gonna find a little bit more of a twist. Opening my heart towards this wall on this side of my house. And then from here, we're gonna come on up and keep that heart shining towards that wall if possible, and extend your arms. So you might come out of the lunge a little bit, and that's okay. If you lose your balance, scoot your left leg to the outside of your mat or away from the midline of your body. Now we're gonna reverse it. Drop that back arm to your thigh, maybe your calf, maybe even your ankle, and then reach it back. So those hips are leaning forward, but your arm is reaching your shoulders, your head, the top part of your back in space. And then we're gonna just reverse it all. We're gonna come back up to your T, back to your twist, back through your lunge, and end in half split. So we're gonna give this front leg a little love. Straighten out that front leg, pull that left hip back, right hip forward, and then think shining your heart towards your shin. So your forehead doesn't need to touch your leg. My left foot is flexed towards the sky. And if your hands can't reach your mat, no worries, keep them up on your hips and send your hips backwards. We're gonna re-lunge here on this side. Turn that back heel down and we're gonna come up for warrior two. So that left leg is still in front, deep bend. This back leg, my foot is parallel to the back side of my yoga mat. You don't have a yoga mat, that's okay. Just pretend you're on one and that foot is parallel. And then reach those arms up. You hit your warrior two. Now in your warrior two, flip your palms open, press your hands behind you, and lean a little back. Maybe even your gaze shifts up towards the sky. Drop your shoulders and open your chest more. And then flip your hands back over to your warrior two. Reach in front and reverse. Can you look up underneath that top arm and then keeping the arms straight in the leg. And then we'll tick-tock it into a triangle. So those hips go back, the hand goes down. Try not to rest it on something. If you're going to press this arm into your thigh to encourage your chest to open up more. And as you hit your triangle, lean back in your triangle. Even more opening through that heart space. Bring it back to triangle. re-engage that hand if you lost it, and you're gonna move it out front to half moon. So I'm gonna hop my back foot in. I'm gonna move too, because I'm gonna run out of space. I'm gonna hit my palm tree over here. My left foot's still in front, my left hand comes down to the mat, and maybe you just do the kickstand. It's here. Here's the modification. Maybe you can lift your leg an inch, a foot, or a mile off the ground. Doesn't matter. What we're focusing on today is shifting that heart towards the side of your space. So like you're pressed through 2 panes of glass, can you shine your heart a little more? Maybe even shift your gaze a little. And then drop that top arm for standing split. And here's our tricky transition. Coming up through warrior 3. And then through tree. And now tree, you can kickstand that foot. You can have your foot low on your calf, which is most of us where it will naturally come as we kick through. Or bring it all the way up to the inside of that left thigh, pressing together. Now once again, we're gonna open. You can have your hands at your shoulders or interlace your hands behind your back and then take that fist away from those glutes. So tree with this heart opening bind. Just 3, 2, release the bind, release the leg. Inhale up, we're gonna take it through a flow, just to reset before the other side. Inhale, halfway lift like we did in the beginning, and then step it back. Plank, downward facing dog, or take it through your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, that right leg comes high. Exhale, step it through. And then once again, keep it low. Drop that back knee. Untuck the back toe, walk your hands up to find your lunge. Now, if you're wobbling all over the place, move your right foot to the right a little bit. Give yourself like a wider railroad track to be on. And then arms come up. And then press those hands to heart center to find the twist. This time, left tricep outside of that right leg. Every inhale, lengthen your spine. Every exhale, we twist a little bit more. And then using those strong core muscles, come on up, extend the arms, reach them strong, shoulders away from your ears. We breathe and reverse. Drop that back hand. Can go to your thigh, to your calf, maybe to your foot. And then lean it back, reach it back. So hips go forward, everything else is going back. And of course, don't hold your breath. Reverse it. We come here, we come here, with that twisted bind. We come lunge, and we come half split. This time, pulling that right hip back, left hip forward. Shining your heart forward. Your back doesn't need to stay totally straight, but it also shouldn't be like completely crunched up. Shining and opening your heart. And then coming forward, back to this lunge, tuck the back toe, coming on up, warrior 2 the other side. So right foot facing directly forward, left foot parallel to the back of your mat. Knee bend right over that ankle, and then we reach up and we hit our warrior 2. Hold the traditional warrior 2 first, and then we'll open our palms towards the sky, squeeze your shoulder blades together, lean back, maybe look up, all while pressing this right leg behind you, not letting the knee cave in. And then warrior 2, shift it forward, we reverse. Keeping that deep knee bend just for another breath. And then straightening it out, Keeping the reverse, walking those fingertips lightly down your leg a little more, and then we sash those hips back and we find our triangle. So in our triangle, if you don't need to lean on your leg or your thigh, don't. Let your core get a work here. And then lean it back, lift it back, gaze goes up, sending those hips forward, shoulders back. And then back center. And moving it into half moon. Reach that right hand out. Once again, I'm going to allow myself a little space. Drop my right hand down. My left leg lifts high and is active and flexed. And now I'm trying to shine my heart over to my wall. And you fall out like I just did. We just put a smile on our face. We get right back in. Some days balance is better than others. Can you twist your heart a little bit more to the side, not the ground? And then thinking about that top arm, drop it down, standing split. Here comes our tricky transition. It's warrior three. You're up in three, think capital T, and then stand it through to tree. So much rhyming. All the way to tree, low or high. Then drop those hands and interlace the way you normally don't. So go to interlace and then switch the thumb that's on top and interlace the other way for this chest opening. Tree pose on the other side. Nope, not gonna happen. Okay, here it is. Three, two, and one. Release the hands, release the feet. Big inhale up. And then exhale all the way down. Inhale halfway. Exhale, plant those hands. Hop, step, jump, your choice. Vinyasa flow, or no. Back to downward facing dog. Drop down to your knees. Tuck those toes towards each other and find yourself into a child's pose just for a moment. Reset the system. Rest your head on the mat if it reaches. If not, stack your hands. Create a little pillow stack for your forehead. And we're going to do one more prep here before we go into our peak pose of camel. So you're going to walk your hands up and find puppy pose. So tuck your hips over your knees. So your hips are going to stay high in the sky. Your arms are going to reach all the way out in front. Booty goes high to the sky. And then press down. Maybe your forehead can touch the mat, your nose, your chin. I'm sure some of you out there, your chest is on the floor. This is just like the final piece of warming up for camel. Breathe deeply. Try to send that air through your back body as well as the front. And then come on up, and we're going to set up for camel. So you're on your knees on this one. I like to tuck my toes under instead of using a block. It kind of provides me with a little prop that's already attached to my body. I'm going to sit all the way up. Tuck your tailbone under, press your hips forward, and then take your palms, fingers facing down on the small of your back and the top of your glutes. And you can stay right here. This is camel. Here's your modification. Our heart is open, our spine is strong, our abs are engaged. We're not letting everything go forward. Continuing to embrace here. Okay, this is okay? Awesome. Walk your hands down, maybe one hand to the heel, one hand to the other heel. I don't like to look back in mine. I have a little bit of a motion issue. I go high to the sky on this one, but if you want to take your head and put it back, put it back. If you want to put your feet flat on the floor, put them flat on the floor. Wherever you are, think expand through those lungs, expand through your heart, and breathe. We're here for 3 big breaths. Walk it back up, reverse it all the way around. You're gonna have a seat. We're gonna fold it forward over those legs. Just round it out. Squinch those shoulders up to those ears and then press them back down. Let everything roll towards the front. And then slowly roll it back up. And come onto your back. We're going to end with a both side spinal twist and then a happy baby. So all the way down, find your long spine. Bring your knees up to 90 degrees. Flex your feet. And then, keeping your shoulders grounded, can you drop them over to the right without lifting up your shoulders? Then bring them back up to center. And then bring them over to the left without lifting up your shoulders. One more time, each direction in the center. Exhale, right. And center. We go left. Center, and happy baby. Grab for your big toes, outside your feet, outside of your calves, pulling those knees towards the earth, pressing your heels towards the heavens. Try to align your long spine on the floor. And then simply release. Take up as much space as you need to. Please don't skip this part. I know it's tempting, but I want you to be able to benefit from this. Soak it all in Shavasana. Big inhale. Exhale, let everything sink into the earth. Push your shoulders away from your ears. Arms can be straight, they can be bent, they can be overhead. Feet can splay out, splay in, and just be. Promise, short and sweet. Wiggle those fingers, circle your ankles. Come on over to your favorite side, resting your head in your hands just for a moment. Here's where we thank ourselves for showing up. Knowing that you're a better everything to everyone because you took a time out for yourself today. And then we press yourself up to seat. If it feels good, keep the eyes closed. Keep that intention internal just for another moment. We'll end with one big breath. Arms come down, around, all the way up. And then press it through heart center. Hands come, thumbs touch in between your eyebrows, and we all bow and say, Namaste. Thank you for joining me that workout of the week. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think of that heart-opening yoga flow, and I'll be back next week for an upper body toning arms fully workout. I hope you can join me. Go have a great week.